the top 20 is filled with guys who are not, I don't think there's anybody in the top 20 that's under 25. I think Gotterup and Ludwig are the only 26-year-olds. I went through it real quickly. Morikawa's in there. He's like 29. Hovland's like 28. That's interesting because I feel like I don't feel like we are just coming off an era where you had Spieth and Rory, and when Morikawa and Hovland were that age, like 23, 22, they were kind of up in that top 10, top 20 in the world. Why have we swung back to like kind of an older, like top 10, top 20 in the world?
Yeah, so I think that whenever there's like technological advantage or technological progression, like the early adopters are younger people. Like, they have the time to learn whatever it is. They're not set in their ways and in their careers where they have to like relearn the skills that got them to where they are. Like, they're being molded, right? And so they're spending time learning. And so when a new technology comes around, like, it's the young people who adopt it and learn it first, because literally they're at the stage where they're learning stuff. So they can devote 40, 50, 60, whatever hours a week to learning that thing versus like, man, now I'm 40, I've got a job, I've got kids, now I got to learn like AI on the side. What am I going to do? I guess like do the Andrew Ross Sorkin routine. But so I think, we saw that first, and I want to say it was Andy Johnson, the Friday, who's talked about it. Like, you had that generation that really came out of like the 07 Walker Cup where they had grown up with titanium, and the players
it's like Ricky,
yeah,
like that DJ, all
Rory,
those guys.
Webb, Billy, Horschel. They had grown up with titanium their whole lives. It's all they had known. So their games have been built around titanium drivers, which you swing differently. You grow up swinging harder at them because they're more forgiving, versus the guys older than them had grown up with, let's say, the smaller steel-headed drivers. Now titanium comes out. They've got to relearn things to take advantage of this new technology. Well, I think like the next step after that was like the adoption of TrackMan, strokes gained. So with TrackMan, and strokes gained, TrackMan especially, you learned how to like launch the ball efficiently, and you could measure it immediately. I remember I was talking to Webb Simpson about that class of 2019, like Matthew Wolff, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, these guys that had immediate success, and he was like, even like getting new golf clubs and like getting fit with adjustable hosels and stuff in TrackMan was so much easier because like you could sit on the range, you unscrew the head, you put a new shaft on, you change the settings on the driver, you hit a few, you watch on TrackMan, and you know within like 5 swings if that's right or not. And like Webb was like, in my day, like you go to the Titleist truck, you grab 5 versions of the newest driver off the rack, you hit a few, you're like, all right, I think this is the one that's the best, and who knows what other options are out there. And so it's kind of a guessing game. Whereas now, like, you immediately have like an optimized, perfect drive in your hands after, a brief fitting session of like an hour. There's no more guessing. So you take the TrackMan, you take strokes gained, which changed how people play golf. Like, no more, like, let's not hit 3-wood off the tee or 2-iron, like just bomb and gouge it, basically. And off of that came Scott Fawcett, who, love Scott. Like, he's a friend of mine. I saw him at the PGA show. Like, obviously has done some things on Twitter that, has turned some people off. But I do think like his system really changed the way people think about course management. You had all that stuff changing, and the players that you're seeing the OWGR now, like those older players, are the guys that were that young generation who that was around from the time they were in like junior golf, let's say, or amateur golf. And so they really learned and took to heart that stuff, TrackMan, strokes gained, etc. And so now they are growing up. It's an equal playing field, I would say, with the younger players coming out now. And so the older players have, like, it's an equal playing field of like both players have had that all their lives. Like, they're not facing they didn't have to change like midstream. Harris English, probably as long as he's been an amateur, has been around a TrackMan, at least when he got to Georgia. Yeah. Keegan Bradley, same thing, those guys. And so I think that's the thing of like, the playing field's equal, so now the experience matters. Also, like, with technology, nutrition, working out, etc., like everything, it's easier to keep your ball speed up probably for a long time. And so there is a max where like a certain level of ball speed is just inefficient for playing pro golf. Like, I think for a while there, we were like, go, 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 get as high as possible, get as high as possible. But at a certain point, there's diminishing returns. I think Nico Daris has done some work on this. Like Rory, we saw it with him at the Players in 2021, where he's trying to chase down Bryson and get to like 190. And he realized like, man, I've lost my game trying to do this. Like, so we know you don't need to have like full on 190 ball speed to be elite. And I think you can maintain 175 or so into your 30s, late 30s. So I think all those reasons are why these guys are staying competitive, because there hasn't been that technological shift yet where they would have to change midstream to keep up with the kids. And then also I just think too that NIL and PGA Tour U guys are staying in college longer. So more guys are turning pro 22. And then honestly, COVID too, the 5th year, like you saw with Goddard. He went to Oklahoma for a 5th year. Neil Shipley went to Ohio State for his 4th and 5th years. COVID year, NIL, PGA Tour U, guys are staying in college longer, so they're turning pro later. So you don't have a ton of guys who are like turning pro at 20 and winning right away.
Well, it is interesting because you've got like, I think about Dunlap and Clanton and guys that are coming out on tour, and they have very uneven starts to their professional career, which is like historically like what happens, right? Like that's not abnormal at all. But we had this weird, probably when I first started covering golf, of like this weird run of, you know, Rory was 20, Spieth was 19, and then into the Morikawa, Hovland, you know, like that whole group of just like, man, they're so good at such a young age, and we're just, I don't know. I'm interested to see if there is a technological shift over the next 5 or 10 years that like, you know, flips the pendulum back to the 18, 19, 20-year-old.
AI, just optimized by AI.
I would love to see someone do a deep dive into this like technological shift, a bit like the Ian Fillmore podcast with Andy Johnson, where he was talking about the effects of tennis and how that also stretched over like 2 to 4 generations. It would be fascinating to see like where the success of the players, like you were just saying, Rory or Spieth, falls in that timeline with the advances.
Yeah, I think being 43 now, like I see how hard it is to like adopt a complete technological change, like at this point in your life, or even 35. Once you have like kids, basically, like once you have a job and kids, it's really hard to adopt technological change.
Like, what's an example for you?
Like right now, like having shifted over to like more like, I don't want to call it filmmaking. That sounds very pretentious, but like being involved on the video side, let's say, like, and wanting to learn, not only like the art of filmmaking, but also like technical side of cameras and frame rates and how to decide like what to use and, you know, what lenses to use and all this stuff and how to set it up and how to light it and all this like technical side of making videos. Like it's hard to find the time to like do the work to study it. Whereas if like I was in college and it was like, man, the video is the future. I'm going to get a degree in like, documentary filmmaking. Like then I have the luxury of spending 50 hours a week learning it. So like
just naturally, it's native. It's not like you don't have to go out of your way.
Yeah, I mean you're in college. You're literally like you're there to learn. So you can spend all your time learning. I'm trying to like learn on the side while balance a job and kids and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed this also. Like I remember growing up, and you would be on AOL Instant Messenger or playing Xbox.
Pulitzer in the Bag was my screen name.
Pulitzer in the Bag?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that. Mine was, if we're I guess we're sharing this. I guess I have to share. KP23 baseball.
Love it. Jason?
Mine was Monkey 050590.
Wow. Pulitzer
going with the
Bag
classic birthday.
I mean, it was tongue in cheek.
It is insane. But I remember thinking like, how do my parents not like if one of my, I don't think they ever did this, but if they would have sat down to play Xbox with me, or I remember my grandma used to play Super Nintendo with me, which was hilarious.
Jason, can you make a drawing of that for the next newsletter?
I'm on it. I'm working on it right now.
Thank you.
We would play Family Feud on Super Nintendo, which was great, but they're so bad at it.
Sure.
Well, as an adult now with kids, I'm like, oh, I'm on the other, like, this is how they are viewing me. And it's also true. And I don't really know why. I'll play video games with them and I'm like so bad and they're so good. And it doesn't make sense. I'm the same person.
Yeah, but I think in the video game world, you're like between release patterns. Like you grew up like the Sega Genesis controller, right? So your brain knows like the positioning of the like Sega Genesis controller, and you know like up, down, left, right, like, you know, A, B, whatever it was.
Konami code. There you go.
That was Contra.
Yeah, Contra. We got a ping pong table for Christmas, and if I play 10 times, I'll get like this much better.
Mm-hmm.
And if my kids play 10 times, they'll get like this much better.
I mean, their brain's so much more elastic than yours. Yeah, they're learning.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's so much of, I think, what you're referencing.
But have you tried creatine?
No.
Creatine will help.
If we get a sponsor.
Let's get a creatine sponsor here.
What were you gonna say about Twitter?
Oh, so like Twitter, right? Came around in like 2009. Probably hit its, you know, stride with golf in like 2015, 2016. All of us were like in our late 20s, early 30s. And so we were like, this is awesome. Let's all hop on Twitter, like take advantage of this new technology. Golf Twitter was kind of formed. There was obviously a culture war that I think has been written about a lot and talked about a lot of like the new golf Twitter media versus like the older school media who, you know, they had done things a certain way and they stayed doing things a certain way. And then golf Twitter media came along, and now like obviously as things progress, like now, I mean, gosh, now as golf Twitter, like we're kind of the olds, and like, I don't know, golf talk, you know, whatever. There's probably some golf. I mean, creator, honestly, like golf Twitter is kind of the old thing, and now like creators are coming around, and like golf Twitter is probably being supplanted by the creators. And so it just kind of happens that way. And
yeah, I think it's an interesting point. Like I always thought new people would come along on golf Twitter or golf social, but it's like not even the same platform in the same way that Twitter wasn't the same platform as the generation before us.
It'll be the same 10 of us just still doing it when we're like 65 and
just banging out tweets from the Washington Road Starbucks.
Not anymore. I mean, hopefully next year we'll see, but not right now.
Well, but yeah, when it's 65.
I've debated coming up for like a day and just, you know, filing one from there just for old time's sake.
That would be
nothing stopping you from just going and hanging out at the Starbucks.
Any Starbucks or that specific one?
That specific one.
I mean, the $500 and $600 a night hotels is kind of the barrier to entry right now.